Soldiers of Shoot.
Welcome, troops, to another live SOS. And tonight, we are Triple Trouble.
New laugh. I love it.
Bro, we got Wrestlemania, Monday Night Raw, and Smackdown all coming at you. And we've got the full faction here. Sitting to my right from the Northeast, he is the captain of chaos, the captain of cool. He is the Sultan of swag. He is AC. Cool.
What's
Sitting
up?
across-
What's up?
What's happening, my bro? Sitting across the table from me, why, that little weirdo with the beady eyes. That was my Becky impression, Bobby. The Steamtown Stun of the Electric City Saint, Robert Ventura. And on my left, as usual, he is the best in the world, Hollywood Edwards.
You know, General, that was a bit half-hearted for a guy that just pulled in single-handedly, single-handedly 616 views on a 20-minute video. I think you can do better. Give me more. Come on, give me more. Give me more.
Choke him out.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the best in the world, Hollywood Edwards.
Much better, much better.
Leg slap city. Leg slap city.
You deserve it.
We do deserve this win, fellas.
So
we do.
I just want to say this. Can I now change my name to Iconic Cool?
Yes, you need to do that like immediately.
Because I am iconic.
Iconic cool. That's great.
What a weekend, brothers.
What a weekend we had. Jeez. It all culminated with that 616. I know, wasn't it? General, how about it? 616.
We got to do that another day.
Oh, man.
Great show on Saturday. The best.
I'm Matt Taven. I just had to do it. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure that you are pumped up from that.
Slightly.
I got to relive it again. I love it.
So,
Yeah.
tell me about it, guys. Let's start with WrestleMania 35, and let's start right at the beginning. We get Alexa Bliss and the Hulkster. Out comes Heyman. He's bitching and moaning about Brock not being the last match. So what the hell? Let's just wrestle first and get the hell out of here and go to Vegas where people appreciate us. Broskies, I mean, Brock just takes it to Seth Rollins before he even gets in the ring, beats the bejesus out of him. But when the bell rings, Seth Rollins pushes Brock into the ref, takes advantage of a low blow. 3 curb stomps later, we have a new heavyweight champion. I'll start with you, Hollywood. Were you shocked at what happened at WrestleMania?
Dude, this one was disappointing to me, and I'll tell you what. If you look out there, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, what a great start. What a great start. They started with a shocker. They started really quick, and it was the Universal title to kick it off." I look at it the other way, man. I was expecting a good match out of these two. This was one of the few matches that I was looking forward to. And instead of a match, I feel like they just said, okay, we want to go from Brock to Seth. We want the belt back on Raw, and we're just going to go, and we're going to go get there, and then boom, it's going to be done. We're just going to do it, and it's going to move, and that's that. And boom, 2 minutes later, they did it, and that was it. Very disappointing to me to kick off WrestleMania that way.
Very quick match. What did you think of it, AC?
I will say this. If you're out there still waiting for an Uber to make your way back to the city, you already missed Raw and SmackDown. But anyway,
We need to get into that more later.
I know.
Actually,
I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, yeah, same, disappointed. I know we kind of all toyed with the idea of Brock remaining the champion because he's championship material, and maybe we've questioned whether Seth is or not. And the other side of it, if I don't hear a Daniel Cormier versus Brock Lesnar announcement in the next, I don't know, 2 weeks, I'd be shocked.
AC's live from the raceway right now.
Apparently, some very fast motorcycle just drove by my house. Sorry.
I don't know, man. Is he going to be able to carry Monday Night Raw like Brock Lesnar did? Does he have the credibility that Brock Lesnar gave to the WWE?
I don't really think so, dude. And dude, what a massive weekend for pro wrestling. I mean, we saw invasions, returns, final matches for, Kurt Angle and Batista, 3 of the world's most prestigious championships all change hands. We had the big, the announcement of, pro wrestling's answer to Coachella. We had a 16-5-minute draw. We had the first ever women's WrestleMania main event, but we also saw botched finishes, questionable booking decisions, and bro, we had an Antifa wannabe hopping the barricade, attacking a Hall of Famer. Dude, it seemed like we saw and experienced the highest of highs and lowest of lows for this business, with all within a 6-day time span. And now we're finally here to talk about it. And dude, the nightmare is finally over. But it seems like the nightmare of the Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar match was very obvious. I mean, right off the bat, dude, it was absolutely terrible, bro. That match was an utter disgrace. It was I think it was honestly the most unrealistic Brock Lesnar match of all time, honestly. There's absolutely no way Lesnar would fucking lose to this guy. I'm sorry. I didn't believe the finish. I thought the entrance for Rollins was really corny. They practically had this late 1980s Dungeons and Dragons, really corny fantasy graphics. They had that shitty looking sword destroy Lesnar's logo. I mean, I was all over that whole thing. It was just awful, bro. Just bad.
Well, he got his power from the man. He's sleeping with the man, so he's more powerful now.
That's true. Yes.
Bro, they should have called you for the graphics. You could have done a better job than that.
That's true.
I mean, at least it was better than Sperm following Randy Orton down the aisle 2 years ago.
Yes.
Following up on one of the things you just said, the run-in on Bret Hart. Why did Enzo and Cass run in on Bret Hart like that? What was that? What was that all about?
By way of Nebraska.
I don't know, that dude, he looks like he could be part of them group. I mean, he looks like your typical Antifa wannabe. They had a mugshot of the guy. He has green hair, bug eyes, and And the funny thing about
he's not certified though. He's not certified.
Well, no. He's not certified, but I think he might be certified insane. But apparently, they're
certifiable.
Touche.
He did this apparently because he was pissed off that the women were main eventing WrestleMania. Now, where is the logic in that? Why would you attack Bret Hart if
maybe he was going for Natty?
Yeah.
Wilson or something. I don't get it, bro.
Well, I heard he said that he did not tackle Bret Hart. Bret Hart tackled Bret Hart. So.
Kayfabe News. Shout out Kayfabe News.
Next match, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. AJ goes over. I'm going to let the Saint talk about this one because I know he is an AJ Styles mark. Saint, were you marking out when Styles went over?
Hey, and a big Orton mark as well. I mean, I thought I was very happy to see AJ win. They were both selling the knee in the match, which I thought was kind of strange that they're both selling the same body part. There's all different other body parts you could have be injured, but of course, I guess in the realm of WWE, all they got is the knee, bro. I mean, I was very happy with the match. AJ, learned from his mistake from the previous Smackdown. He went for the phenomenal forearm. He realized it, Orton was ready to strike with the RKO, pulled back on it, and then, he kind of monkeying around with it and still was able to hit like a cool spot there. And, you know, the crowd was really into this match. I think it was a good idea having it on second there. I was very shocked, honestly, though, to see AJ kick out of the first RKO. You know, I mean, I saw it coming a mile away, partially because I said AJ would win, but at the same time, it was, you know, it's very weird to see, you know, somebody kick out of that because it's such a big move. And pretty much 9.5 out of 10 times that ends the match. I mean, you know, the only thing I would say about this match I didn't like is that they teased the RKO too many times. I mean, he basically teased it very early in the match. They did it about 2 more times. He finally hits it, of course. They teased, the big super RKO off the top rope. And, you know, that's one thing where, like, I get it. They're trying to, you know, shock the fans or whatever and get them like, oh man, this could really end real quick. But at the same time, it's kind of crazy to really like tease the moves so many times like that. But, you know, very good match. I could honestly say it might have been one of the top 3, top 4 matches of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, pretty good match. From there, we went to the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. The Usos retained. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. We'll talk about the Usos later. Hollywood, then we got the Falls Count Anywhere match. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. Take us through what you saw there.
This was the first match on the card that I actually thought it was good. I don't think anything before it was good. I thought Orton and AJ was okay. But at this point, yeah, I thought after it was over, match of the night. And, of course, my opinion changes after the night. But I thought it was okay in the respect of a Falls Count Anywhere match. The stunt bump that they took was terrible. Looked fake as hell. The setup was great. You knew they were going off that thing when they started crawling up it. But the payoff kind of sucked. But to see Shane laying on top of Miz, it backfired on the Miz. And I believe AC on the pre-show said they are definitely going to carry this through. It's not going to end here. I was completely wrong about that. So AC was right. Looks like this is going to continue. But overall, I guess it was okay for a false count.
Well, it could continue if he doesn't get sent to Raw on the shakeup.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Corey Graves was on my nerves tonight with, that one could go to, this one could go, the whole wrestling's going to be messed up now.
They could break up the New Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hollywood, let me ask you something. What happened? The Miz landed on that giant mattress and then he couldn't get up. Did he fall asleep? What happened there?
It may have been like a Serta, you know. He just hit it and good night.
That was it, right out, huh?
Yep.
That was the most anticlimactic Shane spot ever.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I know there's been times that AC has hit the bed and he went out immediately, but usually that involves alcohol.
More times than not.
Now, AC, you were not only right about Shane McMahon, but the next match, the women's Fatal 4-Way, you and the Saint were both right about this. I'm going to let you speak about it because you are the iconic, cool AC. Tell us about your number 1 women's tag team championship team.
Well, of course, they're iconic. But I'll say I think I'm actually shocked I was right about it. I don't know that the match is very good. I don't mind it being off Sasha and Bailey, even though Edwards has an affinity for backside. Mm-hmm. I was fearful that this was going to be Natty and Beth Phoenix going over with Natty, putting in her father in the Hall of Fame. Let's face it, they're never putting anything big on Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka anyway, so I think they were kind of canceled out. The match wasn't great. I think the right team won. We could get into this later, but I kind of liked what they did with them tonight. So we'll see where they go from here. But, I mean, let's be honest. This is really not that big a deal.
Now, I'm going to get everybody here on this match. the Kofi Kingston Daniel Bryan match. This is the one that the crowd was the most excited about. It wasn't even close. So, Hollywood, start us off here. What did you like? Was there anything you didn't like? How do you feel about the Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan WWE Championship match?
I think we all said it on the pre-show. It should have went last. And the reaction of the crowd, I don't know if you guys by chance went back and watched it again. Dude, it was awesome. The crowd reaction was awesome. The chants were awesome. The payoff was awesome. And the crowd appreciated it at the end. This was by far the moment of the night. And I would argue that it was probably the moment of the past few WrestleManias. Probably going back to Daniel Bryan. So for it to be placed where it was, I think is kind of a travesty. But, yeah, dude, excellent match from the two of them. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it was almost perfect. Almost perfect, the whole situation. And they did what we were all wondering, would they do it? You know, would they go all the way? And, you know, they put their big boy pants on and put the strap on them. So kudos to WWE for that one. By far the match of the night. Absolutely. Moment of the night, all of it.
Yeah. AC, was there any time in this match where you were thinking to yourself, they're not going to do it. They're going to put Daniel Bryan over?
No, I actually, after SmackDown last week, we talked about it. I think we all wanted him to go over. The way that promo went, I thought they were going that way. I thought that was the story they were telling. So it worked out. It was a great match. I agree with Hollywood. I think it's one of the bigger, if not the biggest moment they've had on Mania in a long while. Maybe you could say the Rollins cash-in at 31 would be up there with those two. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like a surprise thing. It's not really the build that you had with DB at 30 and now Kofi at this one. The one thing I'll say is I actually really like the idea, the inclusion of his kids in there and Big E and Kofi and the whole thing. But I'm going to put a caveat on that because do you really need to plug merch? Do you really need to plug merch in that spot? That's one thing that it irked me, but that's a nitpicking thing. Overall, I thought it was really well done. But like everybody's going to say, it went too early. I don't like what followed it. The match placement sucked.
For whatever godforsaken reason, the morons working WWE shop had the Kofi championship win commemorative shirt or whatever the hell you want to call it. It was actually listed on their website, WWE shop, and I sent a text and a screenshot of this to Edwards, before the match actually ended. This was like seriously, this was like even, I think it might have actually been up before the match actually went.
It was 9:30. It was 9:30.
Yeah,
that
was
the
about the time
timestamp
that the match started.
Yeah, the timestamp on the website was 9:30, and that's when it started.
They don't know who Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are between each other. So I mean, why should I be surprised? Why should I be surprised by this? I mean, this is who they are now. Let's be honest. There's holes all over everything they do. You don't need to put it up early. You don't need to have Kofi plugging T-shirts in the ring after he wins the WWE Championship. And for a lot of reasons, I don't want to get political, but for a lot of reasons, it was huge.
Well, let's take a second to get political. He's the first WWE African American champion, and
that's huge.
Instead of using it like how they should have, they were pushing merch. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
I just don't like it. Seth Rollins isn't pushing merch after he wins the title. Becky Lynch is it. The Iconics are it. Why is Kofi doing it? And I understand the New Day sells a lot of merch, so that tells me you don't need to do that. They're going to sell the merch anyway.
Well, but the merch was a small part, right? I mean, they did give him a new belt.
It is.
His kids were in there with him, and that was more Big E and Woodsy actually than it was Kofi, I think. And I'll say this about the WWE too. I'm gonna give them a little love here because, and this is out of order totally, but you just said about the kids coming in and all of that, and we give them a lot of shit, the WWE. But one thing I will say, I watched that Hall of Fame I didn't watch it live because I was busy watching G1, but I watched it the next day. And I got to tell you, bro, I enjoyed the Hall of Fame thing, but the thing I enjoyed maybe the most was the Warrior Award that went to, and I'm going to blow her name up, Sue uh, Aitchison,
Close enough.
something close enough. Okay.
Yep.
The first recipient that made sense compared to what he said when he had his speech.
Absolutely.
Bro, what this lady does and what the WWE does with Make-A-Wish is fantastic. And, you know, anybody who craps on them, and I will admit I've done it. When they had that Connor kid and they were running him out there, it kind of pissed me off. I said they were trying to do a PR thing with the kid and all that. But you know what, dude? I come to realize watching this Sue Aitchison get that award that, man, they've been doing this shit since Hulk Hogan was the champion. So they've been doing Make-A-Wish for a long, long time. They've given many, many thousands and thousands of wishes. They have 4 or 5 guys on the all-time high most wishes list in all of Make-A-Wish history. So I got to give them credit for that. Moving on, maybe I should let AC speak to this because it was Alexa Bliss in the back. She's the host of WrestleMania, and she apologizes to Colin Jost and Michael Chiche because they got their asses kicked by Braun Strowman. They're in the back. They're getting checked out by the doctors, and she says they're in very good hands. Come to find out that it's Hall and Nash, and they're gonna give him a prostate exam. Good stuff there, huh?
Yeah, tremendous. I mean, it added a lot to WrestleMania.
Next match, Bobby, tell me about this Samoa Joe push. Samoa Joe beats Rey Mysterio in 55 seconds. Were you surprised by the outcome of that match being so fast?
Nope, that's exactly what should have happened. I was laughing so hard when he squashed him. It made too much sense. It's like, honestly, that was probably one of the better booking decisions of the last couple of days. I was very happy to see him win in quick fashion like that. And I think part of it obviously was the fact that maybe Ray was still not 100%, but also from another perspective, I think it makes Samoa Joe look really, really good by having him beat a former multi-time, multi-champion. He's held the tag titles, the cruiserweight title, world heavyweight title, and multiple promotions. So, I thought it was very good to have him look really badass by choking him out real quick like that. The only thing is, I was kind of surprised that they didn't implement, John Cena into this in any form, because I thought maybe, okay, he'll have him squash Rey Mysterio, but then maybe say, have him Joe go on the promo and say he wants more or something, and Cena comes out. But obviously we get Cena later in the night, of course.
Right. Absolutely. AC, the next match is your boy, Roman Reigns. You've been defending him all along. Talk to me about the Roman Reigns-Drew McIntyre match. Now, we all said that we would have liked to seen Drew go over, but we also all predicted Roman Reigns to win. What'd you think of the match? What'd you like about it? And did they go the right way?
I'll say it was everything I expected it to be, but nothing that I wanted it to be, I would say. I don't think it did enough for Drew. I get why they did it. I'm not going to crush it because I understand the idea and where they're at with Reigns right now, where they're at with this whole deal with him and how big of a guy he is for them. So I don't necessarily think they wanted him losing on their biggest show of the year. I just think it was a little short-sighted. And given what they did with Drew tonight, he's headed for probably what we expected to be the next Braun Strowman or whatever the hell else they're going to do with him. So I would say I was disappointed. I was disappointed in that aspect because I had big hopes for Drew.
Right.
But I mean, I get it, and I love Reigns. I'm not going to dump on it. I don't think the match stood out. It was okay, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think the match did stand out. Not at all. Next segment, Hollywood, is Elias. He's going to give us the music. He plays a lot of instruments, obviously. He's the whole band. But maybe the biggest part of this segment is we get to see the doctor of thugonomics. John Cena comes out. He's got the pumps on and all. What'd you think of this segment?
I marked out as soon as I saw thugonomics up on the board.
I jumped off the couch. I actually called it when they did the Babe Ruth thing. I turned to my boy and I go, if he comes out in a Yankees jersey with Dr. Thugonomics, I'm gonna mark. So I was ready to pop.
Hollywood, what was your favorite part of this segment?
I thought it was cool that Cena was willing to do that and wanted to do that. Now, I saw that he came out and said afterwards that he felt kind of ridiculous doing it, but I thought it was a cool shout out. It was unexpected and it was fun. I thought it was a fun moment to remember.
So Cena comes in, he does the rapping, he does the doctor of thugonomics. Tell me this, Hollywood. How many people in the audience, percentage-wise, do you think that may have been sitting there going, what the hell are they doing with Cena here?
Yeah, that's a good point. I almost thought that when he came out, there was no pop because they didn't know who it was. There were pockets of fans like marking out and jumping and cheering, but yeah, you bring up a good point there because if you are a certain age, you probably don't remember it if you don't know your history.
How far back is that going?
Jazz didn't know.
Yeah, and she's what?
She said to me, she was like, why is John
17,
Cena wearing 18? A Yankees jersey? John Cena's a Boston guy. Why is he wearing a Yankees jersey?
Mm-hmm.
And I had explained it to her. I was like, he came out in Madison Square Garden with a Patrick Ewing jersey on to face the Big Show, you know?
Yep.
But if you're that age, that's a long time ago now.
So your daughter is what, 18 years old?
Yeah.
And she didn't know. So
well, she wasn't a wrestling fan at that time either, but
right. Well, she
still would have been young.
Right, exactly.
You know, even through her watching stuff throughout history, she never picked up on the thugonomic Cena thing, you know?
Right. Yeah, that was a pretty cool spot. I liked it. I thought it was very entertaining. I marked out too. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to get everybody in on this one. No holds barred match. Bobby, Triple H, career on the line against Dave Bautista. I was worried about Bautista maybe ring rust and not being able to go, but I will say I was pleasantly surprised by Dave Bautista. What did you think of this match, Saint?
Pleasantly surprised. I can completely agree. This actually might have been one of the best matches of the night, and that's very crazy to think about when you realize Triple H and Batista are both 50 years old, basically each. They've been in the business so very, very long, and you know, the match was, like I said, very, very good. Surprisingly, my only complaints about it was, you know, Triple H is, you know, working on the hand and doing like teasing that he's breaking his hand and all that stuff, because I guess that's the big cool thing, you know, even though, you know, that's been a big thing in British wrestling for about 10 years now. You got guys like Pete Dunne and guys like that doing it, and it just seemed like he purposely did that just because it's, you know, the quote unquote cool thing. But, you know, to contrast that though, him pulling out the nose ring, that part I thought was pretty awesome with the pliers. I thought that was pretty cool, and I still kind of think Batista should have won here, but apparently I read online that this was Batista's idea, that he basically wanted to come back and you know, lose to Triple H, you know, as basically as a thank you for everything that he's done for him in his career. And I personally, I feel like they could have still done that and still had Triple H lose and just had the both of them retire. At first I thought this was a big ego thing for Triple H, but apparently this was, you know, Batista's idea, obviously.
Why would Batista do this thank you for all my great years? The guy left 2 times. To me, that sounds like a lot of dirt shit crap.
Hollywood, Ric Flair did get involved in this match. Were you happy to see it?
Yeah, I think it made storytelling sense. Boy, oh boy, though, on the pre-show, I said, you know, kind of tongue-in-cheek, Triple H probably said to himself, what haven't I done yet? And the answer was beat Batista, and that was the story, and he beat Batista. So he is who we thought he was, and if you need any more on that, please visit our previous video that we posted,
Yes.
all about Triple H. If you're a big Triple H fan, go listen to that.
Okay. I'm going to stick with you here now, Hollywood. Well, no, you know what? No, I am going to move this over to AC because AC for the last 2 weeks has been on me heavy about this. AC, Baron Corbin beats Kurt Angle in his last match, and you were ecstatic about this.
Well, I mean, given what happened with Drew and other guys, you have the best heel they have right now. Will they utilize it? I don't know. And to me, Kurt Angle did everything I expected Kurt Angle to do and put him over. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. Was it spectacular? I'm not going to call it spectacular. Was it one of the more memorable moments of the night? No. But me personally, as a fan of Baron Corbin, I feel like they have options with him now. Will they utilize him? Probably not. But we live to fight another day in our button down.
There you go. Saint, you got your Demon King. You and Hollywood got the mark out over the Demon King. He took care of Bobby Lashley actually pretty easily. There were a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds maybe that the Demon King looked a little vulnerable there. What'd you think of that match?
Well, I want to say this. I don't really even know where the hell to fit this in. This is mainly a general statement, but I noticed this during the Corbin match and during a bunch of the other ones. I mean, the in-ring microphones were pretty hot during this. I mean, I kept picking up several guys calling moves. I clearly even heard Corbin call for the deep six. I mean, among other things throughout the night. So, I mean, I partially blame that on the fact that the crowd was dead during a lot of this, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know why they have them in-ring mics so loud. Now, regarding this match,
smart.
obviously, regarding this match, though, obviously this was the point in the night where I even flat out said on Twitter, I totally overthought these last three matches. I even said it right on Twitter. Obviously, the Demon wasn't going to lose that. I totally overthought it. I think it made sense that it was real quick like that because at this point in time, you know, they're running really late on the show. I think it was already like practically almost midnight by the time this ended. The one thing, though, that I thought was really funny with this is, and I'm not even sure if anybody noticed this because they didn't even acknowledge it, Lashley had like these goofy looking like scary like or demonic contact lenses on, and it was so funny because he looks so goofy. And any other time, you know, Graves or Cole, they always say there's another look in his eyes tonight or something goofy like that. It was so funny that they didn't do it for that because there literally was a different look in his eyes.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah,
Nope, they didn't even acknowledge it, bro.
Wow. I don't remember them acknowledging it either, but I remember seeing it and going, what the fuck is going on with his eyes?
Yeah.
Strange. It's just weird. I don't know. Whatever.
Hollywood, what do you think about the Demon King? Are you still in love with him?
Yeah, I love me some Demon King. Matter of fact, I think I'd make it full time because when he came out on Monday night, I was bored again. So there you go.
You know what's funny is Hollywood and I got together for Mania, and my cousin, who used to go with us over to the Hamburg Field House when we worked for the WWF back in the
when
day.
you worked for Mel Phillips,
right?
And I'll leave it there.
Came in and watched with us, and he called me or texted me on Monday night. Apparently, he was watching Raw, and he actually asked me, "Who is this Finn Balor? Is this the Demon?" So he's not watching. He just wanted to get together and see WrestleMania for the first time in years. But he was very surprised that Finn Balor had this other, alter ego that was so boring. So, take that, Finzy. All right, we'll start with you, Hollywood. The main event. The first time ever, the ladies headline WrestleMania, and little Becky gets it done. Thoughts?
The man got her done. Actually, she didn't get it done because her Ronda's shoulders were up on the 1 count. I like how they addressed that tonight. I like how it's a big deal on social media. It bled over into the Smackdown show. Everybody's talking about how Ronda's shoulders were up on the 1 count. So great storytelling by WWE. The man did it. I'm being sarcastic, everybody, because they didn't bring it up.
Anybody who watches, like, what are you talking about, dude? Oh, he's making fun of them. I get it. It took me a minute, too. I'm serious.
It's okay. I didn't think, I got to be honest with you guys, I don't think this match delivered. I don't think it delivered in a main event spot. There were, like, instances where it just felt like it was a Raw match. The table break spot I don't want to say it was a botch, but I mean, it was bad. They're trying to tell a story with stuff like that. It didn't come off right. Ronda was Ronda. She does what she usually does. I think Charlotte was the glue that held the match together. Dude, Becky, man, I don't see it. I don't understand it. And the more I see her as the man, the less I understand the infatuation. I don't get it. I don't get it on the mic. I don't get it in the ring. Maybe you guys can help me out, but I don't think it delivered as far as the WrestleMania match, main event.
Seth gets it.
Did either
Seth gets
it. Did any of you guys, AC, Bobby, you guys want to say anything about this match?
I'll try to keep this quick. Honestly, I thought that the best part of this was the friggin' entrances. I thought that was cool that they had Charlotte coming in on the helicopter. Honestly, I mean, I realized that it would be a logistics nightmare and they can't do it. But seriously, I wish they would have went all out with it and actually had the helicopter land in the arena. I thought that was very cool. And, I thought it was cool for Ronda Rousey. They actually had Joan Jett and the Heartbreakers play, bad reputation. And in a way, I'm too, as regarding that, no, this isn't Face the Music, but I need to bring this up because I know nobody else will. I'm so glad that they didn't boo her just because of the fact that, it's Ronda Rousey. She's the quote-unquote heel in the match because, obviously Joan Jett and the Heartbreakers, and even when she was in the Runaways, they're a big, thing for women in rock and roll and metal and everything. So I think it was good that I was very happy that they didn't boo her. But I think also part of that was just because of the fact that a lot of these hippy dippy commie millennials out there probably had no clue who she was.
Did you say commie millennials?
Yeah.
AC, thoughts on the match?
I actually didn't like the helicopter thing. I thought it looked staged and lame to me. The Joan Jett thing was cool, but I think we might have brought it up, if not on air, but through text. Is that like the stamp of death in a WWE WrestleMania when you have like the big entrance? I mean, we could probably list off a million examples where you're the one who actually loses, even though the story, well, not the story, but the visual we had at the end of the match was Ronda's shoulders were up. I remember early on thinking the match was going well, and then at some point, and I can't say that I remember the point, they lost me a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just it was so late. I didn't get the sense that it sounded like a pin could drop. I don't know. I don't want to put it on them as workers because I just think the show is so stinking long. It's such a long day. I think the crowd was zapped. I think even people sitting at home watching it were zapped. And I think there's something to the fact that they know that happens. And that's why they put it last. Also, they put it last to make a political statement. They could say all they want, and Tori Wilson in her Hall of Fame speech could say that we asked for this. Who asked for it? Somebody explain to me. Stephanie McMahon, you guys push this on people because you want to make a political statement. Nobody asked for it. Do you remember when has anyone ever clamored for a women's wrestling match to close WrestleMania? It's never happened. They thought they caught lightning in a bottle with Becky Lynch, and they have an actual legitimate world-known women's superstar in Ronda Rousey sitting there, and they said now's the time to do it.
So there the fans sit through that long match and a long night. and Hollywood, then they leave the arena to take the subway or whatever to get home,
Ubers.
and nobody can get home. Imagine how
Yeah.
frustrating that might have been.
Yeah.
Who do we blame this
Real
on?
quick, I want to say that the helicopter thing, and I'm only going to say it, not to be smarky about it, but I know there's a historian listening screaming at us. I don't know what show it was, when it was, why it was, but I do remember when I was going through the old NWA pay-per-views, Ric Flair came in on a helicopter once. I don't know if it's historically
right. I think it was
instigant.
like a tribute to it or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but it kind of jumped in my head. That could be what they were going for there. It just seemed very staged though.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out. But apparently people were still in the parking lot at 3:30, 4 a.m. Certain people, if you're watching guys complaining on Twitter about it, mile-long lines for the buses, for the subway. I guess they had one train running out of there. The Uber line was like a mile long. Like literally there were thousands of people just standing there waiting all night.
Well, there was another thing with the Uber. Actually, that guy from Barstool who did an article. If anybody's used Uber and they know about it, basically the way it works is you call for a ride, it gives you a price, and you say, yes, I want the ride. And it then now charges your credit card for that ride. So then if the ride gets canceled for whatever reason, they will refund the money, but it's not instant. So what was happening to these people is they'd call for an Uber. The Uber would say, yep, we're coming. We'll be there in 20 minutes. Accept the ride. We'll bring you back to New York. Then the driver has to cancel. So then they call for another Uber. And this guy from Barstool wrote this article, had like 7 charges between $80-something and $100 on his credit card. Now, those will be refunded. But what if you're sitting there with a debit card and you got $100 left? You're screwed. You know what I mean? And I don't know that you could blame the WWE for this. Maybe the transit system in New Jersey.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
But I also have to say is, if you're going to ask people to come for an entire weekend and spend time at NXT and spend time at Access and spend time at the Hall of Fame and spend time at WrestleMania and then go to Raw and then go to SmackDown, you need to take all this into consideration and take care of those people. There's people that bought those packages are not cheap. I looked them up.
I'm not letting the WWE off the hook for this because we talked about this before that ever happened. Everybody knew that was going to be a nightmare. People talked about what the nightmare was going to be. Now, why wouldn't the WWE have a conversation with New Jersey and New York and say, hey, look, we're going to have 80,000 people there. You're going to have to be ready for this. They're going to be leaving the building at 12:30. Make sure you're ready.
As far as I know, they had that conversation. They met with the leadership of New Jersey, and it was all they knew about it. But the other thing I wanted to say too, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. The show itself, man, Vince, please, you gotta stop. You gotta shorten the damn show.
Absolutely.
It's way too damn long, period. Listen, you got kids. My kid, I let the kid stay up for an hour extra to see Kofi because that was the guy that he really wanted to see, and then he hit the bed because it's a school night. You have people that have to get up for work the next day. Vince, it's too damn long. You cannot have your main event starting at midnight and ending at 12:30. It's too damn long. Either move the show to Saturday night or cut the length in half. It's got to be done, man, because this is getting ridiculous now. It's at a point of ridiculousness. And
it's getting longer every year. We're going to be looking at 1 o'clock within 2 years.
Well, somebody else made a good. I forget who tweeted this or wrote it. Basically, saying is you sold this women's main event as something special for young girls and young women. Are they up at 12:30 on a school night?
Like, I completely agree with that words. Like, it's getting ridiculous what we're having 7-8 hour pay-per-views. I mean, what happened to the old days when we used to have WrestleMania be 3, 4, 5 hours, and it's like now we're going into 7-8 hour territory. And it's even crazier when you think about it that, you know, they opened the gates probably at like 3 or 4. There was literally people there that were probably there for 10 hours at this point by the time the pay-per-view ended. And then, of course, with the transit issues, they probably didn't even get like like to their hotel or not until 2 or 3 a.m. I mean, it's utterly insane. And this goes back to my point that I said last week that, you know, WrestleMania is getting to be an all-day affair and a big time commitment.
Yeah, if you think about it, if they were outside, like Hollywood said, standing around looking for a ride till 3 o'clock in the morning, those doors opened at 3:30 in the afternoon. People could have been there for 12 hours.
And it rained, by the way, after.
Oh, yeah, they got soaking wet afterwards. Yep. All right, we're going to move away from WrestleMania now and move into the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Kicks off with Seth Rollins, and he gives the accolades. He burned it down over there in Mania, burned it all down, slayed the beast, all of it. Kofi comes out, challenges him to a match. We'll get into that later. First match, Raw Tag Team titles, Revival versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins in the rematch. Bobby, take us through it. What'd you think? Was Ryder and Hawkins retained?
Dude, the Revival, do yourselves a favor. This is on behalf of the whole SOS. Get the hell out of there, guys. Seriously. I told this to Edwards a couple days ago. It was before Mania went on air. I told him this basically on Twitter. I told him that I think the fact that they don't have a match at WrestleMania is basically a big rib on those guys. Literally the next morning I wake up, they announce Hawkins and Ryder versus the Revival. Bro, what in the hell are they doing with these guys in the tag team division? It's an utter disgrace. It's an utter slap in the face to them and also the many great tag teams that have been in the WWE.
So we'll move away from that. Baron Corbin comes out. Of course, he's bragging about beating Kurt Angle and AC. I'm going to kind of skip through that whole part. Angle comes out and dumps Corbin. But then Lars Sullivan comes out. What do you make of Lars Sullivan?
Yeah. Okay. I thought Kurt is done. I thought he's retiring. Why? I don't know. I didn't dig it. I actually liked Corbin's promo. I don't even mind the fact that Angle dumped him. I think that's okay with the whole situation. Interjecting Lars Sullivan in, who I'm gonna guess less people knew Lars Sullivan than knew Thuganomics, so I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing with all that. I'm not a fan of it. I was not a fan of Lars Sullivan in NXT. Here you have the reincarnation of another Braun Strowman type where he's the big monster and, you know, he's going to beat up everybody and then we're going to do shit with him. So, okay.
AC, he even does the roar like Braun Strowman.
Well, they could form the Monsters Inc. tag team, I guess. You know, next year when they need a tag team to complete the 6 tag team match, they're gonna bring. They might even bring like the old TNA Octagon ring. They'll bring in one of those and have a 6 tag team title match to bury it, and they could have Monsters Inc. with Lars and Braun. Maybe they could actually lift the ring.
Something real quick on this, real quick, before we move on to. They literally chanted, "Who are you?" at this guy. And
that's a smarky crowd.
Literally, people that had no clue who the hell he was.
That's the same crowd that was chanting NXT tonight when Ricochet and Nakamura were in the ring, and they said, "Who are you?" to Lars Sullivan. What the hell does that tell you?
And the funniest thing about this whole thing is they said, quote unquote, he's the most sought after free agent in WWE history. Give me a freaking break, bro.
First of all,
here's what you're gonna say, pal.
That drives me crazy. Hollywood, he's not a free agent. He works for the WWE. Ryback is a free agent.
Well,
what happened was he no-showed that show, and that became like he lost his contract. See, when he had the panic attack and all that. So now he's a free agent because I expect to see him on Impact Friday and then ROH on Saturday because he's a free agent.
This guy is such a badass that when he was supposed to make his first appearance for WWE Raw, he started crying and ran out of the building. That's a badass right there.
I mean, he's headed for superstardom.
All right, well, let's get into the next match. Alexa Bliss squashes that ass, your ass, Bailey.
Our ass.
My ass squashed your ass.
What do you think, Hollywood? Is this what we're going to get now from Bailey? And I'm going to guess that next Monday we're probably going to see Bliss versus the Boss. Are we going to see the same thing? Are Bailey and the Boss going to start to fade away and become obsolete?
Yes, I think so. And I'm gonna take my time and turn it over to AC for a specific reason. And if I'm wrong about AC and it's Electric City Saint there, you jump in, please. But I saw some news about a weird tweet from Sasha Banks. Did you guys see any of this?
Way back?
No, today.
No.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but I saw that Bliss blocked her. Good old high school drama on Twitter, bro.
Yeah, apparently Sasha was supposed to be on the Wendy Williams show today, and the producers tweeted something that they were pissed because she canceled for no reason. So they had to scramble to find somebody. They couldn't find somebody, so they did some kind of weird segment or whatever. But people were coming down on Sasha Banks about it, and she put out this long, cryptic tweet about, I don't know, she just wants to be herself, and this is not the place of dreams, and yada, yada, yada. Wow. So I read it, and I remembered, Stames, you said, oh, Bailey lost. Is it Sasha's turn? Is she having a hard time dealing with the fact that she's playing a character on TV? Because I think she might be confused. She lost her tag team championship match. Bailey just lost on Raw. Is it her turn? What do you guys make of that? Because, dude, I don't know. We've been talking about Sasha, how she's been not so good lately since NXT and all that. So I thought, ask the boys tonight. What's the opinion on Sasha now?
Could she be upset that others were in the main event and not her?
Could be that too. Could
it be she thought this I'm going to be tag champion was going to be a big thing, and then she got iconic? I mean, I don't know. She's been weird on Twitter in the past, so I don't want to. I don't know that I don't know that even I haven't read the tweet, but even if I did, I don't know if I could kind of figure out what she means, because she's tweeted stuff in the past that I thought meant something and it meant something totally different. I think you have a lot of people in that locker room that are doing what we're doing, questioning what the hell is going on. And I just think that maybe that's part of it. And not only that, we didn't really talk much about the Revival, and obviously there's not much talked about, but I'll say this. I feel like this last 8 weeks was them saying, go ahead, guys, ask for your release and watch what's going to happen. Oh, we'll put you on TV. You know what I mean? We'll give you a title. You want a title run? We'll give you a title run, pal. I mean, they literally bitch slapped these guys from 6 ways from Sunday while they had the belts on them. So to me, you talk about making statements. I think it was pretty clear. What did Mike Kanellis do at WrestleMania? He ran around the outside of the building, cutting videos for Twitter against Maverick for 205 Live, saying that he should have been in the match, but he believes that Tony Nese and Murphy are great, but I should still be in the match. This is what these guys are resorted to do to try to make a name. I mean, that's just sad.
It is sad. It's pathetic.
It is.
Regarding Sasha, I don't like to speculate. I'm more of a facts guy. But to be honest with you, I've seen this for, as you guys said, for the last several months, and I partially attribute to the fact that I think her accidentally injuring Paige, I think, was a big shot into her confidence, because after that happened with Sasha, the blotches have gone up, the lack of quality in her performances and believability and confidence and everything have gone down. And, I really think that it's also part of the fact that she's just not happy there. And I don't know, part of me thinks too that she'd be somebody that maybe at this point would be better off getting out of there, because I don't feel like she has much to prove there. She's won both Raw and SmackDown women's championships, and now she's won the tag titles. But honestly, really, like, what else does she have to prove there?
I don't think it was that much of an accident for her injuring Paige. I'm not saying she did it on purpose. I think she's been reckless for a long time now, and it was bound to happen. And I think that's the biggest issue. There's times where Sasha Banks wrestles, and I don't want to watch because I cringe.
I'll also say this, and I don't mean to pile on here, but what you just said, Bobby, about her not having anything to prove, that might be half of her problem because she is so used to being on top. She was on top in NXT. She came to the WWE. She was on top. She won one championship. She won another championship. She won the tag team championship. And now maybe the realization is hitting her that, you know what, I'm not going to be on top anymore. I'm just going to be another girl. This is the way, and I'm not going to, I'm going to try again. We don't want to get political, but this is the way that age group thinks. Okay. Maybe she thinks she's just a main eventer and should always be a main eventer. Let me tell you something, Sasha Banks. Listen to the general here. This is the business you're in. And at times you're going to have to lay down. And sometimes those times that you have to lay down will run for months or years. And there have been a lot of other people out there in this business a hell of a lot better than you that have had to lay down for months and years. So get over it, honey. This is the business you're in.
The honey. He dropped the honey.
Macho man. Yeah.
Tough.
I agree.
Next segment,
Ronnie
we get Becky Lynch. She comes out and does her little, I don't know. Yeah, what is it, AC, this accent that she has? I mean, come on, what is this?
She's a cheap copy of Conor McGregor, I guess, because now she's the double belt champ. I can't even do it.
She's the chomp.
And that little pause I do in between what I'm saying. Oh, I'm just so happy to be here, and we've done it together. Last night, Seth laid me down and he turned me over, and boy, I showed him who the man was.
Seth burnt me down. You should see my penis today. It's all burnt up.
I mean, the best thing she did in the match that got the most pop on Twitter was the fact that she had her pokies coming out. I heard all these things. Is it cold in New York? I'm like, what is going on? And then my boy Jim is like, well, Becky's hard. And I'm like, hard? Oh, her nipples. Okay, I get it. I was like, she's a man, right? I mean.
What Jim should have said was the man's hard. Then you would have,
yeah.
The best part of this segment to me was when she was walking out of the ring there and Lacey came down and just cold cocked her with the right hand. Bro, I love Lacey Evans right now. She's my favorite women's wrestler. And that's a fact.
There were times where she was beating her and flexing, and I'm like, man, Lacey looks like the man right now.
So moving on, we get a match with Ricochet and Aleister Black. They defeat Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. After that, it's Dean Ambrose against Bobby Lashley. Lashley goes over on Ambrose, his last match in the WWE, supposedly.
Wasn't a match, though, bro. It was a brawl, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think they actually rang the bell or anything, did they?
No, they didn't get to ring the bell. No bell ringing there. I guess it was just a little bit of a beatdown. And we get the Intercontinental title match. Finzi, not the Demon. Finzi comes out and he's going to defend against Sami Zayn. And they do the whole title defense thing. Bro, I don't know. To me,
well, let's go. Okay.
Am I crazy, or to me, I'm watching these two guys in the ring and I'm thinking, this is a championship match, and I don't see a champion in the ring right now.
Ooh.
Either of them.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Hollywood, am I wrong?
Oof. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I thought Sami Zayn had a decent promo, but dude, he's like, man, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it, man. Like, we give Kevin Owens a bunch of crap, but at least he's like big. I mean, you see Sami Zayn, bro. Like, seriously, would it kill you to hit a gym once and do some sit-ups, man? Come on.
He's been out for 10 months. He should have had a lot of time to go to the gym, right?
Yes.
Who was that guy? Some CFW or whatever.
Your boy. What was his name?
CCW or whatever the fuck we were talking about over there when they have no weight room in the entire organization.
That's what he reminds me of. Yeah.
What was the guy? The guy who worked the what's the guy who's gonna get buried in the WWE system? Trevor Lee. Who's the guy that worked him?
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either. He must be forgettable. But he blew up early. But anyway, Sammy.
Yes.
This is my problem with a lot of the guys from NXT. Ty Dillinger was a perfect example. Finn Balor's the perfect example. The entrance is more over than the guy. And Sami Zayn with the let's go. I brought this up on podcast with you when he was in NXT. They got to stop with this stupid music shit and making the illusion that these guys are over because their entrance pops.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like I thought it was actually pretty decent. You know, I mean, he was calling out like all the people that they have like no lives and they only get joy and satisfaction out of being critics. I mean, I kind of get what they're going for with it, and you know, in a way, I guess this is where the best direction to go with him. I mean, because he really doesn't, like as AC said, he really doesn't have that much of a character, and as you guys all said, he basically don't really have that much of a physique either. So to let him do something like this, and that's probably just the best way to use him at this point.
Hashtag dad bod.
Hashtag yes.
Hollywood, we go back to the ring after the breaks and the nonsense, and Elias is there. And Elias says the next person to interrupt me will be a dead man, and son of a bitch, he was right.
He was.
Very prophetic. You got to see your boy, The Undertaker. Talk to me about The Undertaker and everything that transpired, and The Undertaker's hair. Go ahead.
Better with the hair, with the hat, though. The hat is key. Mm-hmm. I mean, I noticed the hairline is in the middle of the head now on top, which is not a good look. But I'll say this. I don't understand why they needed to do this. It was just merely to get the Taker on.
Sure.
Why? I mean, we were just talking the pre-show. Saint mentioned, they're kind of moving on. Like, we see Kurt Angle losing. Batista's gone now. It's just over. This influx of the youth, like Kofi's turn, like let's do some different stuff. And then you're just going to roll them out to roll them out. I didn't understand why.
Maybe you didn't hear, but the fans started to chant "Holy shit!"
Well, those were the Brits. Those are those asshole Brits. Those asshole Brits cheer a lot, and they bounce beast balls.
Yeah, they do. They brought him out again later on, but
they did.
Yeah, dude, for Taker, man, I've said it before on here. There's only one reason that you bring him out ever again, and it's if you're going to book him against Sting. That's it. It's the only thing that he has not done.
Is that like a wheelchair match, or?
I don't care if it's a wheelchair, as long as they
can get Hogan in it.
As long as they're dressed up, I don't care. I'm good. They could wheelchair it. They could walker it. They could use the walkers. That'd be a hell of a match. Can you imagine?
I have one comment about this. The Undertaker looked like the second coming of Tales from the Crypt. So please retire. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
I can't deal. He looks like he's 100.
I got one quick thing to say on this with the Undertaker thing. I'm not even sure if you guys noticed this. When he goes for the choke slam, his hat fell off, and I honestly thought his wig came out, bro. Because I don't know if anybody noticed this, or if he's even wearing a wig, or if that's his real hair. But after he does the choke slam, the hat falls off. The way that they shot this, it was very weird. It almost looks like they didn't want you to see his face. I seriously, I wasn't there, obviously. I'd have to ask somebody that was actually in attendance. But I swear that the wig came off.
I noticed it too. I noticed it too because when they kept the camera down on the hat,
yeah,
and they never put it back up. I thought originally that maybe he had extensions attached to the hat. But then when it fell off, they did show him.
Supposed to happen or something, yeah.
Well, you can see that when the hat fell off, he was grabbing for the hat. He was trying to keep it on.
So he may have had extensions on there. He may have. I'll look into this.
Tales from the Crypt.
I'm sure the people will be waiting with bated breath until I put out the big video about Taker's hair. But
Winner
I'll get
take
it out.
all.
Hey, listen,
Winner
you guys
take
are pushing four-digit viewers here, so you're onto something.
That's
Go
true.
for it.
Winner take all.
Superstar in the making.
Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins. Kofi wins it all by disqualification. The Bar interferes in the match.
Yeah.
Teddy Long comes out, books a tag team match, and that's our main event for Monday Night Raw. It's Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston going over the Bar. That winds up being our main event. Does anybody want to speak to this?
I want to say one thing. Really, the bar, really? You couldn't think of anything better. Even if you wanted to muck it up and make it a tag team match, the Bar, the same team that's jobbed on every damn gauntlet match you've done. They lost the 4-way title match they never should have been in. When's the last time the Bar has won anything? And you're putting them in the main event spot on not one but two of your biggest shows of the year? Who is writing this shit?
Do we?
Yeah, honestly, I was really surprised that was the Bar because I didn't really get it. Like, there's so many other people you could have in that spot. And it's funny, the biggest thing I took out of this match, though, was the belly aching and whining I heard online. Oh, they ruined the match. Why'd they do this? Bro, seriously, anybody and their brother that's been watching this for years knew as soon as they signed that match that it was going to have some kind of goofy finish, bro.
Absolutely.
We pretty much just knew that was what was going to happen, and they pretty much kind of blew it anyway because they were advertising Kofi's going to be on Smackdown
during the show.
Celebrate his
Yes.
title win.
You say it's ridiculous, but 2.9 million, bro, so suck it.
7 million about 5 years ago. So,
Dude, again, it's the trend, man. 2.9 million
that's
after
not a lot.
Mania. Jeez.
That's up what 300,000 from last week. The Raw after WrestleMania up 300. Oh, it was the most watched Raw of the year. No fucking shit. The Raw after WrestleMania is the most watched Raw every year.
Yep.
It was the most watched Raw since SummerSlam of 2018.
Oh wow, I'm impressed.
Which goes to show you how much the numbers are in the shitter.
They're losing 25% every year, right? I mean, that's fair. For the past, 5 years, 7 years?
After watching the last two nights and Mania, realistically, you're sitting there in September. AEW on the fringe, a month away. Football starting again. The Walking Dead, etc., etc. We're going to start building to another presidential campaign. They're headed for sub 2 million. It's happening.
Yep. They're going to hit it.
They're going to hit. I will say this. Raw will hit sub 2 million consistently before the end of the year. I'll put money on it because they're not giving people a reason to come back. The Kofi thing's great for SmackDown and all that. If you think Seth Rollins carrying that title on Raw every week is going to be a needle mover, I'm sorry, it's just not.
You know what, dude? I'm not going to. I want to say that's a bold statement, but you know what? Since we've been doing this, what we're doing for the past 5 years, every time this topic came up, we would look at the number and we would go, okay, they're not going to sink lower than 4 million because they're bulletproof. It's 4 million. And then they would. And then it became us talking, they're not going to sink lower than 3.5 million. And then they did. It just keeps going lower and lower and lower. So you know what? If you think they're going to dip below 2 by the end of the year, I can't argue it because it's been a pattern.
I might take that bet.
And the other thing too is like you can't use the YouTube views as a barometer. And you and I had a conversation about AEW, ROH, New Japan, and their YouTube views in comparison to Impact.
Yes.
Which are it's night and day. Impact, it's way more views.
Yep.
But there's not that many people watching the show. So if the WWE gets 4 million, 5 million views on a YouTube video, does that really resonate to the rating?
No,
it doesn't.
you said it. You said it recently. Networks don't give a shit about your YouTube views.
They don't.
That's all. That's what it comes down to.
When they're watching you on YouTube, they're not watching their advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching YouTube's advertisers.
Exactly.
They're not watching USA's advertisers. They're not watching Fox's advertisers. And I think that's a big concern. And, when Bobby talked about it earlier with, I never remember WrestleMania going over 4 hours. Well, they had a built-in, they were stuck to doing it 4 hours because their pay-per-view window was 4 hours. And you know what happens? WCW learned it the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
When you break your window, you go blank, you go black. Mm-hmm. Cut the fade to black, as they say.
Yep.
But now they don't have that concern because they control everything.
Yep. They're on their own network.
You know what the saddest thing about this whole thing is, too? They're getting beat by the PGA Tour and their ratings. Think about that for a second. The most boring sport on earth, golf, is outdrawing.
And their biggest draw is down. Their biggest draw is down. Tiger's not even drawing like you did.
Yeah, exactly. That makes it even sadder because it's
Bobby made a statement.
XFL is headed to save them.
Bobby made that statement a couple of weeks ago saying that, people do kind of watch differently in that they do go to YouTube and they watch clips of the highlights instead of watching the whole show and spending the whole 3 hours. But the thing is that back in the Attitude Era, people didn't do that because every segment was a clip that they wanted to see.
Right.
They made, when Vince Russo, I know. When Vince Russo was writing that shit, him and Ed Ferrara would constantly be rolling in their minds, what do we need to do to make sure they don't leave for the commercial? And that's how they ran that game. Now, shit, 2 hours of the 3 hour show seems like it's throwaway.
Is he related to Mike Ferrara?
No. No, he's not. Well, there's a good example of that. I know we're not there yet, but tonight on Smackdown, between the match that we were waiting for, the Hardys and the Usos, I know they had it picture in picture, but the commercials were on. The hot tag to Jeff Hardy was during a commercial. Yes. How can you be that bad?
My Lord.
Yep.
Now, it was on picture in picture. It was on screen, but they mistimed it, and the hot tag was not on, basically.
Yep.
Horrible.
So, it's unbelievable.
Sad.
It's terrible.
So we'll open up SmackDown now. It all starts off with the New Day. And, bro, I got to tell you, that Big E he's fantastic.
He's fantastic.
He is.
I can't take my eyes off that guy when he's on TV.
I actually thought he stole the whole Hall of Fame ceremony, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't take my eyes off him. He
was right in
They had to put him right there.
Yeah.
And every time people are talking and he's gyrating. How about when the Honky Tonk Man was going by and he's doing the air guitar? I'm just like, this guy is pure gold. And
Yes,
then
he
the
is.
split.
Oh, yes, tremendous.
Oh, and he sold it. He slow-moed it tonight for you and did this. Could you think about that? That guy's like 280 pounds of solid muscle.
Yeah.
Look at that athleticism. Tremendous.
So then the bar comes out again.
The bar, the top team. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny because Hollywood, you and me were talking last night when they, said that they were having that match, Kofi and Seth Rollins. And then my brother was texting me, same thing. He knew that's never going to happen, So you and I, though, we're texting back and forth about who's going to do it, who's going to be the one to come down and interfere. And we have all these creative ideas going on. No, the bar. And the bar comes down again tonight. And this time they have Drew McIntyre with them.
Yes.
For a 6-man tag match. So I'm thinking, holy crap, wait till we see this. Drew McIntyre is going to clean house. And we'll get to that. That's the main event. Okay? Mm-hmm. But next we got Andrade, Rusev, and Shinsuke Nakamura in another 6-man tag match. Go up against Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Muhammad Ali.
The greatest of all time.
God damn you, Ali.
He flies like a
God damn
butterfly. He stings like a bee.
He's a bad man.
And he got the pin, right?
you. He did.
Of course he did. He's Ali.
Ali don't lose.
Ali don't lose.
Listen, they were on cue with their timing when they all sat in the middle of the ring together, Indian style. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
They're actually pushing me to the point where I'm starting to not even want to see Ricochet.
Yeah,
I'm already at the point.
I am too. It's bad. I can't believe what they've done to my relationship with Ricochet. You know it's going to be great. It's going to be great when the day
I want
comes.
Tessa Blanchard to come back and kick his ass.
What's going to be great is when the day comes where Taven and Flip Gordon and all the guys that AC knows go to WWE, and we're doing a show, and he says, "I hate Taven."
Never gonna happen. Taven's too smart.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Especially Flip, if he ever signs with the WWE, I'm not going to watch a second of anything he does, and I will choose to remember him the way he is out there now. And I told you guys, Flip been hitting the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You look pretty ripped.
Ripped Flip.
Flip is on to bigger and better things than what that company is going to provide him.
Right. Ripped Gordon.
And Taven stole tanning lotion 10 years ago, so he'll never get signed.
Oh,
so I don't
no,
have to
forget
worry.
it. He blew
I
it.
don't have to worry. Shout out to the Revival for putting a guy on blast 10 years later. You guys are stand-up guys.
Yep. Shout out to Taven for being creative for their merch, too.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood, Ali
Yes.
spikes Andretti.
Touche.
Little Hurricane Rana there, and gets the 450 and the pin and the win.
Yes.
And then afterwards, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He RKO's Ali. And then a second later, Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere, and he gives a stunner to Rusev. What the hell was that all about?
Well,
I
they're,
like
they're
Randy.
going back to Ali versus Orton because that's what put him out in the first place. And I'm assuming they're going Owens versus Rusev. Single jobber now. He's going to be a singles jobber instead of a tag team jobber, Rusev. So,
Is any of this? I don't know. I mean,
I have a question though. What if all these guys end up on different shows at Superstar Shakeup?
well, my question is: now you're trying to build a tag team with Rusev. What does this mean for Nakamura?
I'll echo Bobby's sentiments with the Revival. Bro, get the hell out of here.
Well, Nakamura should go wrestle Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom is what.
Yes, please.
Oh, please.
For the IWGP Intercontinental title, which. Wow. Well, I can't wait to talk about those shows.
General, you know it's hysterical. You were over for Mania. What did I don't know if you caught this, but what did my wife say when she saw Shinsuke Nakamura?
She was not. She didn't like what was going on.
Dude, that's saying something if she makes a smart ass comment like that.
Wait, did she? Well, she knew Shinsuke from New Japan.
New Japan, yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah, all right. Now I know where you're going with it.
Yep. So, aye.
Mr. Nakamura.
So R-Truth comes out,
Your boy.
and he's there with Carmella. Bro, I don't know what it is about R-Truth. He cracks me up. The guy just cracks me up. Like he made that remark that Carmella beat Andre the Giant in the Royal Rumble, and I'm just laughing. I'm laughing my ass off.
Same.
I'm thinking, But yeah, R-Truth just cracks me up. Well, Samoa Joe comes down, takes care of R-Truth in very short order. Looking strong again. Braun Strowman comes down, and let me ask you guys, Bobby, Joe and Braun Strowman, what do you think? Is this something that you'd be interested in? Would you like to see this program?
Dude, I think it would be pretty cool, honestly. And they're two big guys. It's very much an old school type of 80s, 90s, matchup where it's actually, big versus big. I mean, seriously, I think it'd be pretty cool. And, both of them guys could go. Joe was so damn athletic. But the funny thing was, though, to Not to discredit Joe, but seriously, it looked like he sandbagged Strowman tonight when he lifted him up for the power slam. I mean, I know that the whole point was for him to like get out of it and then run away up the ramp, but seriously, it looked like he sandbagged him on that. It was kind of really weird to look at.
Wait a minute. This guy flips over trailer trucks and ambulances and stages, and he can't body slam Samoa Joe?
Guess it tells you how much Joe weighs.
I mean, and they told you the other night last night how great a shape Braun Strowman is. He's ripped and he's been training even harder. So now he can't body slam Samoa Joe? Oh, terrible. I'll say this again. I'm going to summon my inner Corey Graves. What if they're on different shows for Superstar Stake-Up? This is why none of this crap they did in the last two nights makes any sense.
You know what? I take it back. Orton didn't hit Ollie for any reason. Owens didn't hit whoever he hit for any reason. You're right. It's just
we don't know.
It's
we
an
don't
ad.
know.
No, you're right, bro. It's an ad for the shake-up. That's all it is. They're showing you the possibilities.
Right.
The
That's all
great possibilities that could happen Monday.
That was the theme of these shows.
Yep, you're right.
You don't know who can attack who and who can play. So they wasted 5 hours is what they did.
Damn it. I think he's right,
Sure
General.
seems that way.
The only one that works is Lacey and Becky because I'm going to carry 2 shows because I'm the man. With an Irish accent that I can't do.
Next match, AC, your Iconics, once again, they take on the 45-0 Brooklyn Bells and are able to get the win. Were you surprised that the Bells streak ended tonight?
I was very shocked, but I couldn't be 100% surprised because how iconic they are. Of course they could end that streak. In all seriousness, this was one of my favorite parts of Raw because it was the only thing they did all night that made any sense. This is what the Iconics should be doing. They're literally standing in the middle of the ring trying to annoy the ever-loving shit out of you. And they're doing it, and then this is what a heel team's supposed to do. They're supposed to call out the local jobbers to get themselves a win instead of just doing 50-50 booking all the time. This might have been probably the better part of the booking in the last 2 days that I've saw. I even like the scene with Paige in the back saying, I'm bringing a better tag team next week. I mean, we'll see who that is. Who God knows what they're going to come up with. Maybe it'll be good, but at least I have something to say. Maybe that will be good. It probably won't, but who knows?
Yeah, I actually liked it too. Bringing the jobbers in like that to get the win when it's a heel tag team, I think it makes sense. And because they didn't, it wasn't a long match. It was actually a relatively short match. I think it worked. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it certainly worked. And it's great to see them do that because they don't do that often where they, as much as they used to, where they would bring in like local enhancement talent to be squashed by the major person. I mean, it was definitely a big thing they used to do back in the 80s. They don't do it so much today. And I agree with AC. I actually like this a lot. And I think it might've been one of the best segments of SmackDown. And like he said too, I thought it was kind of interesting, backstage they have Paige. She's wants an up close and personal look at the women's division, and she's bringing her own tag team next week. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. It's going to probably be something real stupid, but maybe this would be something potentially good where maybe they bring up the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. I mean, that would be pretty neat, but probably won't be them. Probably be like some nobodies that nobody gives a shit about. Maybe Alicia Fox and maybe
like them.
Nick Cross or something.
I don't think it's going to be Alicia Fox. I think she's in the doghouse still.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It'll probably be Natty and Beth Phoenix over there.
Next we get Shane McMahon. Hollywood, he's trying to take your moniker, the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Even your entrance.
At one point, the crowd is chanting for CM Punk, who also used to go by best in the world. Shane just says, please, and the chant stops. Hollywood, is Shane doing this best in the world thing? Is that a little nod to CM Punk?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a nod, but
it's a nod in a negative kind of way.
Yeah, I don't know why they're.
Lame.
It's not. Yeah, if it is a rib, it's not funny. It's like it's stupid.
It's not even creative.
No, yeah. I don't know why they're doing it, but yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I got an idea, guys. Like, who cares, man? I don't know.
So Shane does finally get the ring announcer to get it right, and we move on to a tag team title match: the Hardy Boys versus the Usos. This is the one I was waiting for at WrestleMania.
We were all waiting for it.
This is what I wanted to see at WrestleMania. Instead, they give us that friggin' damn fatal four-way match that was just crazy. Crazy. Now we get the tag team title match between the Hardy Boys and the Usos. And Hollywood, I'll give it to you. The Hardy Boys go over. I know you're a big fan of the Usos too, so what do you think?
I think the Usos are the best right now. Dude, I got to see them with the Briscoes before I die. I got to see that program. Ugh. But, dude, what a match. What a match. It was a 2-on-2 tag team match. I was so happy watching this damn match.
Shocking. Real tag teams.
Dude, you forget like how it's supposed to be done. And that match is how it's supposed to be done. And I guarantee you 90% of the crowd was going, oh, this is boring. No, that's tag wrestling. I thought it was perfect. The double team moves, the arm bars with the tag and the elbow on the arm and into the arm bar again. Dude, man, see, this is my problem with WWE. When they want to do it, they can do it, but they're choosing not to do it, and I don't understand why. I actually almost tweeted Vince McMahon tonight, which I've never done. I'm not one of those guys that likes to tweet workers, but I seriously just might, and just tell him, dude, that's what we want to see, not the bullshit that's going on with 8 guys in the ring. Give me that every week, and I'll be happy. Great match. Hardys go over, new champs. I'm sure. I hope we get a rematch.
You should probably just tweet him, thank you. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Vince.
And you deserve it.
And this is wrestling and all of it.
Saint, when the Uso did the splash, it was over, but Jeff Hardy kicked out. Bro, the Usos knew it there. They were in trouble. What'd you think of it?
You know, at that point in time, I was honestly very surprised. I thought that'd be the finish of the match. And at that point, though, I figured, oh, wow, they actually are going to put the titles on the Hardys. And they actually go and do it. And, bro, I will say this right now. This restored my faith in tag team wrestling. It was like this is what they should be doing. It was very good. It's very much that old school of style of tag team wrestling that was such a big thing in the past years. And the last several years in WWE, it's been forgotten about and buried and destroyed and shat on. And for a change, they actually did something right. And seriously, this is the match we should have got at WrestleMania instead of that big convoluted fatal four-way. I was very happy that they decided to do this on Smackdown afterwards. And, you know, I was really, really happy that they actually put the titles on the Hardys. It was kind of a shock win, honestly. Because I honestly, if that was on WrestleMania, I would have obviously went with the Usos retaining there. And they go and shock us and put them on the Hardys and create a good moment. And to go back to what Edward said, dude, I would absolutely love to see the Usos against like the Lucha Brothers or, you know, the Young Bucks or something like that in the future. If we don't see those matches in our lifetime, that'd be an utter shame.
So you're saying that you are hoping that the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers sign with the WWE?
No, I hope to see the Usos sign with AEW, bro.
AC, after the match, the interviewer comes in to interview Matt and Jeff, but we get your boy Lars Sullivan.
Wow. I'm just gonna no sell that garbage. And you know what I want to know? Maybe they should have a slam off between Lars and Braun to see who can actually slam Samoa Joe.
There you go. I'd watch that.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be butthurt anytime the Usos lose because I love the Usos. They're like right there as my favorite tag team with them and Bucks. But I'll say this: if they actually give us a story out of this where Matt and Jeff are ultimately going to put the Usos back over, that I'm 100% in on. I'd love to see it happen at Money in the Bank because I'll be there. But if this is, we're going to put it on Matt and Jeff and we're not going to see the Usos on TV for 3 or 4 weeks, I don't know, man. Like, I can't roll with that one either. But listen, they're the best team in all of time and space, so they're going to win championships. It's the way it is.
Does anybody know that the Usos re-sign?
I believe they did. I don't know if it's true, but I saw reports recently.
That they did?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised by that. I was unaware of that.
Me too.
So we go back to the ring, and it's Becky Lynch. We get pretty much, Hollywood, the same promo as she cut on Monday Night Raw, no?
I thought it was very similar. And that's not a good thing. Dude, let's break it down for a little bit why AC's gone here. He mentioned that pause that she does. Mm-hmm. And it's like she's waiting too much for the crowd, in my opinion. Like, even when she comes in,
she is constantly waiting on the crowd. And you can see that when they react, she is very happy because they bail her out.
Yeah. It's almost like she's waiting for the bailout. She comes into the ring, just goes up on the ropes, and it's like, cheer for me now. And then they cheer, and she goes, all right, good, they cheered. And then she comes back down and does it on the other side. Like, dude, it just seems, I don't know, man. I can't put my finger on it with her, but I keep coming back to the spot is too big for her. It's just not, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. All of that, man. I don't know. Like, in a couple months, are they going to be looking at this going, man, this was a mistake. We should have never did this. Because I think it could happen.
It could happen.
What does Saint say about that, man?
Well, Saint, let me ask you this. They showed the video package of the man going up against the Southern Belle on Monday Night Raw, and Becky finishes up, and then on her way up to the ramp, she hesitates. She says she's going to have one eye open, but she hesitates. She turns her back, and Lacey Evans gets her again. This time, though, Becky can't get up. Let me ask you something, Saint. Are you
go ahead, bud.
Are you surprised that, because the rumor was that Lacey Evans was working a little bit more and they were not putting her on TV because they wanted her to be ready for the in-ring stuff. Are you surprised that it seems like they're going to push this sooner rather than later? And going back to what Hollywood just said about the spot being too big for Becky, do you see them taking this belt off of Becky rather quickly? Are they going to replace her with Lacey Evans?
Well, they have the issue now of how they're going to get, since she's the double champion, how do you get one of them off of her? Because I feel like they have to have like almost like one different storyline for Raw and one for SmackDown. And I guess maybe that their plan is for SmackDown to have Lacey Evans be that one to do that. And who knows, maybe it'd be a good choice. I mean, she's definitely getting good heel heat. I think that she's kind of very annoying in a way, but there's also, people like you and Edwards that absolutely adore her and love her because she's very much, again, a very old school, classy Southern Belle. I mean, she's going out there, she's punching her right in the face. I mean, that's absolutely awesome. You gotta love it. And one thing about Lacey that I thought was hilarious was, I mean, I don't really get into this Twitter stuff too much, but I thought, like, as much as I love Becky, I thought this was funny. Lacey said on Twitter that Becky Lynch is too inadequate to call herself a woman.
Yes.
in reference to her saying she's the man, which I thought was, I'll admit, I thought it was really funny.
That's pretty good.
We go to the main event, the New Day versus the Bar and Drew McIntyre. And the match was okay, but a couple of things I noticed. Hollywood, I don't know, did you see this? Sheamus, especially particularly in the very beginning of this match, when he takes a move and has to play the dope where he kind of gets hit,
Yeah.
like he just does some awful things. Like he'll just stand there like waiting for the punch to come at him, or bend down and just stand there like a dope bending down, waiting for them to do the move on him when he's bent down.
Yeah.
I noticed tonight that he wasn't, especially again at the beginning of that match, he didn't look very sharp. In fact, he looked very dopey, really.
Yeah, there was a spot in there. I don't know if it was, were they running the ropes, and I don't know, maybe there was a duck under, and he just stood there waiting, and then
Yes.
somebody hit the move. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but I don't know, man. If he's too safe or whatever the deal is with him, but again, dude, like that's a guy that is a former world champion, and he's in a tag team, and they're really not doing anything. Like, they're on a lot, but they're not doing anything. It just makes me wonder, like, some of these guys, I mean, I'm not saying Sheamus is phoning it in, but I mean, is he? Maybe he's like that maybe he lost the eye of the tiger. Because why should you have it if you're stuck in a tag team going nowhere?
Maybe that's it.
Maybe
it's that simple.
And it's a shame, too, because I think he's awesome. I do. I'm kind of a Sheamus guy.
Yeah, I like Sheamus too. Now, Saint, there was a commercial break, and before the commercial break, Drew is talking trash to Xavier Woods because he just bounced him pretty good. They come back from commercial, and I don't remember seeing Drew anymore. What happened to Drew, Saint?
Yeah, I was wondering about this as well. I mean, we actually talked about this a little bit before we went on air and started recording. I have no clue what the hell happened to him, bro. And it's very, very weird because Roman Reigns was on with Mike Francesca, and he said that the goal, obviously, is to make sure nobody forgets who Drew McIntyre is. And the very sad thing is Drew McIntyre has very much been an afterthought the last 3 days. The match, obviously, on WrestleMania wasn't super amazing, and then he wasn't on Raw, and then a very forgetful appearance on SmackDown tonight. I don't know what they're doing with this guy. He really is, as we've all said, a guy that could be a big megastar for them. He's called the Chosen One for a reason, but yet he suddenly randomly disappears. I guess his new gimmick is a magician. I don't know.
General, let me ask you, because I feel like history is repeating with this guy. And especially this incarnation of Drew is a lot better than the Chosen One, I think. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else, in my opinion, that he can do. So what is it that McMahon looks at this guy and just doesn't like? There's got to be something that he doesn't like.
I don't know what it is because, I hear that, as far as in the back, that the other wrestlers respect him, that he's very well liked, that he's very respectful. I don't know what it is. Is it just the fact, again, that, for years it was the knock on the WWE and especially Vince McMahon that if you were a quote unquote foreigner, Vince didn't have anything for you. He didn't know what to do with you. And if he did, it was so damn gimmicky, it wasn't even funny. Now, we've seen him be able to work with quote unquote foreigners in the recent past, and they're doing it with Becky, Mm-hmm. She's Irish.
Sheamus.
I don't know.
Kofi technically is a foreigner too. He was born in Ghana, West Africa.
Yeah,
so
he's
technically is too as well.
So I don't know. I mean, it boggles my mind, but I think you're right. I mean, if Drew doesn't, let's just take it to Money in the Bank. If we don't see something good for him by Money in the Bank, maybe he gets the briefcase. Or maybe he gets in a major feud that's going to set him up for a championship shot. If that doesn't happen relatively quick, he may get lost again.
Yeah,
lost in the shuffle. And I'd hate to see it because, we were talking about him right before WrestleMania. It's why as much as we're all fans of Roman Reigns, it's why we wanted Drew to go over Roman, was because he was in a position where he was really just one step away.
Mm-hmm.
If he had beaten Roman Reigns, he would have been there and ready to go.
The thing of it is,
too, what oh, go ahead, Edwards.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the saddest thing about it, too, is this guy is the perfect complete package. I mean, he has the look. The guy is excellent in the ring. He's good on the mic. He has a very catchy, awesome entrance theme, the Gallantry Defining Moment remix.
Thank you.
I mean, bro, it's like it really is the complete package. He has it all, and he should be a guy that should be their big superstar, and they just will not pull the trigger on him, and I just have no clue why. They should have done. They should even have done it as far back as 2007, but here we are, and it's 2019, and he's never held the title once.
Yeah, I was basically going to say the same thing, but I'll be a little more specific. He left WWE and launched a scathing promo. I think he went to ICW over there in Scotland or Ireland, wherever the hell they operate out of. And he cut the greatest promo, minus the pipe bomb. I mean, at the time, he launched missiles at the WWE and Triple H and everything for his, the way he was gone. And then, he goes to TNA and they put the belt on him. Like, if Vince needs to see certain things, other companies have done it with him. So I got to think like he saw, well, what does Drew look like? Show me some TNA. Let me see what he looked like when he was carrying the company there in a top spot. He had to have seen that. Like, there's got to be something that he does not like. And I don't know what it is, man. It's insane with him already.
Yeah, the guy's too good to be constantly getting shit on like this. And hopefully I'm jumping the gun by saying that, because I'm really hoping that next week or the week after, whatever, that we start seeing him moving toward a goal. Now, maybe we got to wait for the big superstar shakeup to put him, where he's going to make that happen. But my God, you got this guy. He's delivered. He looks so badass against Roman Reigns. We could actually see him being a champion, and boom, just like that. Now I'm wondering what's going to happen to him. We did it. Triple Trouble, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, and Smackdown Live, all in the books. I guess if we add it all up, that's like 12 hours of TV wrestling that we just covered in 2 hours. So we saved you 10 hours of your life. If you didn't watch any of it yourself, just come here, listen to this, and you just saved 10 hours of your life. What more can we give you than that?
I think that's about all we can give.
So, Hollywood, if we look at the weekend as a whole in the WWE, if we look at WrestleMania, Raw, and SmackDown, what are you saying about it? Good, bad, ugly, indifferent? Where do you have it all?
I'll say good, but barely good. It definitely wasn't a bad Mania for what it was, but compared to past Manias, maybe it was. I'm basically judging that on certain moments that happened, certain things that I didn't think they would do, and they did. So, in that respect, I thought it was okay. Raw and SmackDown coming out, it's an issue with the Superstar shakeup, because it's hard really to tell if Raw and SmackDown were good, because we don't know what's going to happen next week with the shakeup. So, yeah, I'll say okay, if that's an option. Okay. Wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either.
What do you say, Saint?
Well, on Twitter, like right after Mania aired, I texted Edwards and I told him this is the worst WrestleMania of all time. I have since changed my opinion on that. I don't think it's quite the worst. Length issues aside, there were some cool moments and, you know, stuff that I had a good chuckle at and laugh at, mainly because of the absurdity of it. But, you know, there actually were some decent matches there, and the weekend, you know, probably not the best. They really didn't have that many big shocking debuts or anything like that, but not bad, not good either. I will say this much: forget watching this crap. Do yourself a favor and buy the recap of the G1 Supercard, because seriously, that event stole the whole weekend, no doubt about it.
I agree with you 100%. If you didn't see it, go see it. The G1 Supercard, great show. The last 3 matches were all 5-star matches. So if you love wrestling and you love to be entertained by professional wrestling, you will be with that show.
Yeah, seriously, buy the replay of that. I'm telling you right now, you won't be disappointed, because it was that good.
All right, guys, we did it. So it's in the books. For AC, for Hollywood Edwards, the best in the world.
Very
and
good.
For Bobby Ventura, this is your man, General Stames, saying so long, and we'll see you next time right here on the Soldiers of Shoot.